Party people in the place to be. Live from 58 Dream Street. Greg and James beat 'em up. That's right. It's the Twitch show where this guy, James, and this guy,
Greg,
play beat 'em ups. You get everything you need to know right from the title. And here we are. We started with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up series. Last year, prior to our extended hiatus.
Yeah.
But last week we picked it up, played the NES one, the adaptation of the arcade game to the NES, and now we're in the middle of TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, the NES only sequel, which so far I'm pleased to report lives up to what I've always said was the case, that it's the best one. I guess we'll find out if that continues to be true. I'm not really sure how they could fail to stick the landing. That's one thing about beat 'em ups. I kind of feel like if you got a good first level in a beat 'em up, you can probably be reasonably confident that you're going to have a good experience all the way throughout.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a lack of variety in
there could be like
enemies and bosses.
Yeah,
and stuff.
You would wind up thinking like, I mean, this wasn't great, but I don't think you could wind up being like, well, that sucked. Who knows? Maybe you could. How are you, Greg?
I'm good. Yeah, it is my birthday today.
Oh, hold on. We wanted to this time around remove sprite flicker, but not slow down. Slow down is an essential part of the NES experience.
Yeah, it's my birthday today.
Oh, right, yes.
I'm having a good time.
Happy birthday to Greg. I did say that to him in real life.
Oh, yeah. James, this isn't just James learning about this for the first time.
No. That would have been earlier today when Facebook told me it was your birthday.
Fantastic. That's what Facebook is for.
And I thought, how did this not come up when we were talking at any point in the
I don't
even
really
last week?
I don't really make a big deal out of my birthday.
That's fair. So yeah, we got a save game. We're in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We get the CRT filter on, although they just call it the TV filter in this, which seems imprecise. I guess they can trust that you know that it's not going to... What kind of filter would they put on it to really, really capture the LED flat screen experience? Yes, we do want to load save data. It has been loaded. Okay. So yeah, we're somewhere along the point of the quest with some number of continues left.
Yeah.
That's all that I can remember.
I'm not entirely sure where we are.
We'll find out pretty quickly. I mean, we're on Manhattan. The story so far, in case you missed it, is that Shredder stole Manhattan and turned it into a floating island while the Ninja Turtles were on vacation in Florida. They've made their way back to New York City and are now on the floating island of Manhattan. That much I know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what's next. Oh, there we go. We can now confirm that we have... I don't know if that was our last continue that we've literally just used.
Would the save maybe?
Oh! Hello, CBS Kid X.
Oh, nice.
I'll just call you the kid from here on out. What other filter options might they be bringing to the table?
Really bad CRTV. Hey! Like the old, the ones where it's like a cathode ray television.
Capture what it was like when my childhood friend David's dad took us to his fishing cabin, and there was a tiny little black and white TV. Whoops. Need a second here to remember which button corresponds to which button, because I totally did not mean to jump at the start there. Now remember, we do have friendly fire.
Oh yes, we do have that on.
Okay.
You're good.
So far, so good.
I wouldn't have known that you didn't have jump on, because that is your go-to move on every opening stage.
It is true.
Oh. Are we having fun yet? How?
Oh man, come on.
How? What?
I don't know, Greg.
How did I get locked in that cycle?
I have no idea. But it was unfortunate. I don't think you're supposed to lose that much health to the manholes while there are no enemies on screen to have even corralled you towards the manhole. I just stepped into a boomerang for no reason. Yeah, so before last week, I had not played this game since the original Nintendo Entertainment System when it was a contemporary game. But I always held it in my mind that I believed that it was a really, really good game that expanded on the first one in fun ways.
It is.
And it seems to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I don't think it's going to pop anything out that suddenly disappoints us.
I mean, like we played Turtles 2,
Yep.
the arcade game, and oh shoot, I'm gonna kill something. And it was good. It was a great adaptation of the arcade game, but this is just like head and shoulders above, without really changing too much of the gameplay.
I wonder how much, like, at this point I would need us to go back, and we're not going to, play the other, like, both the TMNT arcade game and then the TMNT 2, the arcade game. Whoops. Oh, good. The only word missing for anyone watching this later on replay is yep. Yep, it's good. Nobody paid attention to the game originally. Ah, see, that's where I can confirm that at least myself and my friend Craig and his little brother Todd absolutely paid attention to this game because we did not have access to a Super Nintendo yet. Cuba! Welcome! This is news to me, the idea that this was not a big deal. I believe you. I'm not accusing you of lying. But
it's certainly remembered fondly.
Welcome back, J-Dog. Yeah, so this is, we're having fun. I believe, Koopa, that this is the first Manhattan level. Like,
Which I believe at the very beginning it said was 4?
I think so. Let me think. Obviously, there's the beach level in Florida.
Yeah.
Then there's the jet skiing level, and then there's the on the ship level. Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds right. So yeah, here we are. Not confident we can beat the game on the number of continues we have left. So we might have to make a choice.
Continues. I think we'll give it if we.
My gut tells me that we want to give this a second try.
Yeah.
Alright, J-Dog believes in us. Yeah. See, for me, Turtles in Time, I don't know that I ever played Turtles in Time until on an emulator.
Really?
I just missed it completely. I guess, like, the Ninja Turtles weren't as big of a thing. Hey! It's raining bits!
Thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated. That's, I only just learned what bits are. On the weekend, when I received some bits. And so now I'm very happy to have more.
God, these guys shoot. Whatever these guys shoot
it's
really gets
like
in your eyes.
Pepper spray or something. Pepper balls.
Oh, well,
That's
yeah.
cool.
I could have predicted that. Who put up these statues of ninjas in Central Park?
By the time, like, there were still arcades where I grew up for quite a bit of the 90s, but I don't even remember ever seeing the original arcade game, Ninja Turtles, in a real live arcade. The beat 'em ups I remember playing in arcades are like X-Men,
Yes.
Golden Axe, and
Actually-
The Simpsons. Those three.
I played a little bit of the
All of
Simpsons
which
in arcades,
are coming up sometime soon in our tour of the genre.
Sure is. But the X-Men games were definitely my main beat 'em ups in arcade at the movie theaters. Is where my arcade from my youth was located. Ooh. Taking out. Switching to Leo.
My parents, I don't remember my parents ever
Wow, this guy's a good
except
accountant
a
and-
few times at the mall. I remember my dad taking me to the arcade and give me some quarters and let me play some games. But otherwise, all of my arcade experiences as a kid either involved being given a set number of quarters with which I left my home to walk to the, in the summer, they would, the local athletics center or community center or whatever you want to call it, a place that has swimming pools and a gym and a library and a bunch of stuff in it. They would set up in the hockey rink.
I think I know the...
An arcade game.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Arcades, yeah.
Nice.
But by that time, I don't remember ever playing a beat 'em up there. Because by that time, the fighting game was reigning supreme.
I mean...
So, like, obviously, probably the people running the arcade weren't even thinking about having a good collection of games, but they did not have, like, you know, nice. Never saw Killer Instinct. Actually, no, I have seen Killer Instinct in the wild at that arcade. Now that I think about it, but most of the things that I remember there are like Primal Rage. Like, we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel of the violent fighting games that came out. There were, kid, but they didn't bring them out to us. I never got to see them.
Oh. Well, at least they burst out. I am much better at avoiding them when they burst out than avoiding the cars that suddenly move.
Oh, very nice, J-Dog. I got to play Mortal Kombat 2 once in an arcade as a kid when I was already super hyped for it, and I was in the 2-year-long process of saving up every instance of money that was given to me by adults so I could buy a Super Nintendo.
Nice.
It was kind of nice, but like all my friends' parents just bought them a Super Nintendo because we were 8 years old. I guess it built character or something, but I would just assume it just people bought it. Whatever. Water under the bridge. But oh, nice. My first video game, and I remember this quite well. The first video game I ever played was it was cool. Like, I'm sure it did actually teach me lessons.
What those lessons are, I can't say.
At the time, though, there was very much a like, oh man, everyone else has a Super Nintendo or a Genesis. But yeah, I played Mortal Kombat 2 once in the arcade, convinced my father to give me a quarter, and he was like, oh my goodness, you know. Actually, you know what? More than anything about the violence, the thing I remember is him calling out my strategy of spamming crouching low kicks. And then he did not, I mean, he probably heard. It's like it would have been in the news, but he let me play it. And
Yes.
and then after I bought the Super Nintendo, my Christmas present that year was a second controller, Mario All-Stars, and Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo. Which by that point I had memorized all the fatality inputs from the GamePro guide to I was ready to go. But this one, I remember I was fighting as Melina, my main.
Whoa.
Right from the start, and I remember I beat Baraka. He's the first opponent.
This guy's diving splash is quite a thing.
Yeah, Super Mario All Stars was real nice.
Did that train freak you out?
It freaked me out in the sense that I was expecting it to arrive at the bottom. I was expecting it to just go by at the bottom of the screen. Once I saw it, I remembered.
Okay.
Yeah, Mario All Stars was just wow, we get 4 games, and it's all the Mario games that we love, except there's this new one that actually kind of sucks, but I played a ton of it, and yeah, it was quite a collection.
I wish this guy would. Yes, this bit. I like this bit.
Oh, right. Now I remember. Yeah, that's the key to this guy. Besides the fact that while both of us are alive, we also have the option of just continually getting him on to attacking somebody else. And then hitting him in the back. Like true heroes.
Yeah, I mean, we're ninjas.
Yeah, he definitely sucks.
He's not a cool guy. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, man. I never want to lose the life I'm on when we get to a boss, even though I'm almost always going to. As a kid, I found it, and even now, with these kind of bosses, I find it really hard to stay focused on playing properly, which is weird, because I'm quite good at many games that have difficult boss fights. But in this kind of context, I always just want to sacrifice my health to land the hits.
Oh,
you got me, Raph.
I got you. I didn't mean to.
That's alright.
I was contributing to the beatdown.
Yeah. No, it's true. I knew I was taking a risk by coming in, but I was like, if we're both landing hits, that's great.
Red and blue, red and blue.
What are you going to do? Yeah, my dad wound up being like, when I'm playing Mortal Kombat 2, he's like, you just keep doing this low kick. Like you're doing the same move over and over. And then I remember the teenager.
That's true.
That's
attack.
absolutely true, kid. And I should have remembered that to be the case. Hopefully it's not even going to be an issue because we're going to beat this guy before I'm at that point again. But I'll try to keep it in mind because that is one thing for me with this particular control style, which is fairly common. It's not like this is not that different from the single attack button control style in the Capcom CPC arcade system games.
Come on, why isn't he flashing yet? James?
CP arcade system. Because we haven't done enough damage to him.
Oh, okay.
So, but in these games, I was always super hesitant as a kid, and it's stuck with me. I don't want to use the move that takes away my health. He sure does take a lot of hits. I mean, he looks, you can tell he's been working out a lot. There we go. Oh my goodness. It was only as an adult that I ever experienced the arcade versions of the 1942-43 games, but my very first Nintendo game besides Mario that Christmas when I got my Nintendo was a bootleg 42-in-1 that had 1942 on it, so I played a lot of it there. I remember the teenager then chiming in and being like, well, that's what he's got to do. Like, he basically saying, like, your son doesn't know what he's doing, so he's using the best strategy he possibly can to win this fight. And feeling validated by that. But it did not work in the second fight, and I lost. And then later, I became quite good at Mortal Kombat 2. Maybe not that good. Fighting games are definitely my video game Achilles heel. To this day. Especially now that I've put all this time these past few years into getting good at the classic Western PC RPGs.
Yes, not a lot of transferable skills between those games.
No. Oh, come on. He stopped flashing. He's almost done. Wait, what is the button combination? Okay, there it is. Got him.
You got it.
Obviously, it's just the two buttons. And when I got it just in time, with one health, exactly like I was saying, it would be nice if it happened. So, hooray. At least some of the credit for that victory needs to go to you, kid. So, thank you for pointing out the obvious technique.
Going underground, dudes. This dangerous sewer leads to the Technodrome.
So, I'm trying to picture the geography of this. They've lifted the sewers, so they've taken a lot of the substrata. Like the foundation of Manhattan.
I think they took the entire. I think when we see it, they've taken like.
They got the whole island, and like they went deep enough
everything
to bring up intact sewers. But what's the?
They've got, like,
why is the
bedrock.
Where's the Technodrome parked? That's a very specific application weapon.
Mm-hmm. Highly specific, but you know what? When it works, it works. Watch out for these exploding pipes.
This time, J-Dog, we'll definitely be here when you get back, barring disaster.
I know we pointed this out last time too, but someone clearly put in the work with the spear guys from the previous games.
Yeah.
Their spears more
They're ninja
appropriate. Yeah.
Yep. It's very good. I'm not, well, like, fake fiction ninjas would probably not do great with Naginata's weapons, because they're, like, trying to sneak around in the dark stuff. Actual historical ninjas, who are undercover samurai, would probably make extensive use of weapons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's also to be noted that most ninja weapons were, like, weapons associated with ninjas were, they probably would have preferred to have Naginata.
Yeah.
Because it would have been an actual weapon, as opposed to something that a farming implement that they fashioned.
Were you thinking to go up that ladder?
I wanted to see, just if I could. Obviously, we can't.
No.
Oop.
so
these
far
guys suicide
great.
bomb.
And like we haven't even done all of the we have more single button early generations of beat 'em up
We sure do.
game control scheme games to go. But so far, I think the Ninja Turtles game does the best job of it.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
think that's
like
fair?
oftentimes it doesn't even feel like there's just one button. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like we are getting like what was it? Not River City Ransom, but the
Final fight.
Final Fight. Yes, Final Fight felt very repetitive and very samey after a while.
Yeah.
With this, I don't know, but there's just a degree of. I feel like I'm still learning stuff.
I
as
think
go.
some of it is the great variety of enemies. Like not variety, obviously not aesthetic variety so much.
I mean, yeah.
But
no.
the different foot soldiers, even though the moveset is limited to basically 3 moves, 4 moves if you count the sap your health to do a super move.
Yep.
But while you're mostly limited to 3 moves, you really do need to employ them differently for different enemies. And it's interesting because otherwise, like, you'd think this game has the least potential for variety, since the enemies are all just dudes in costumes, palette swapped in the same costume with different weapons. But the different weapons make a big difference. And you like throw in excellent music,
Yeah, of course.
iconic, identifiable characters. Really, really nice graphics, especially in this one. I guess, especially in the arcade one, of course, but like this is a big step up from TMNT to the arcade game. Graphically. And yeah, baby, you got a stew going. This is an excellent game.
Dang, right before I was about to get a new life.
Well, you're not game over. You'll get a new life yet.
Oh well,
Pretty
yeah.
good.
But, oop, or not. Jeez.
Man.
Guys.
The Lindas
There it is.
of the Foot Clan.
So question,
Man.
obviously the arcade games,
Yeah,
they're heavily influenced by the television show.
sure.
But they're not,
I think they are literally adaptations of the television show.
I don't think they're straight adaptations.
I think they are. Maybe I'm wrong. They're not adaptations of specific episodes.
Well, that's what I mean.
But
yeah.
I think that I do not think that they are hearkening to the comics or taking their own spin on the characters. I think these are supposed to be the characters from the heavily monetized and merchandised cartoon series of the time. This is a fun mashup of 2 of our regular enemies into a boss.
Mini boss, I'm almost sure.
Oh, for certain. This can't be the end of the stage yet. And this cannot be the boss of a stage this late in the game. Oh yeah, and he's already
got
down.
him.
No, he's not. You're just landing.
No, I'm just-
You were landing hits on him so consistently. Hey, come on, dude.
Ah, shoot. He really just opened up and let that mouse bite him. But you know what? You're doing your job. I understand.
Oh, it's time for spamming. Okay, I went down. And I
Okay.
should have declared that I was spamming that area of effect move before you jumped in and got hit by it. Oh, now he's on the ropes. Oof. Who set my face on fire?
Yeah, Michelangelo would say that. There we go. Took him out.
Bam. Excellent. Good stuff.
I was just gonna ask, the Foot Clan in the cartoon famously made of almost 99% of robots.
Yeah.
And these guys, I mean, they straight explode when we kill them, so almost definitely robotic.
These
as
are
well.
robots. Yep.
But like, I don't know. Do you have an opinion on if the Foot Clan should... Do the robots take something away from the Foot Clan, or do they add to it?
The thing for me is that I don't have a strong attachment to the broader Turtles like media franchise.
Yeah.
I read one Ninja Turtles comic when I was a kid, and is there ever an old, like, would have been early 90s or late 80s story where in an alternate timeline all the Turtles but Raphael are dead?
There's a modern story called
Nope.
The Last Ronin.
If I didn't read it as like a 7-year-old.
Well, then yes, there's probably at least one-off issue. There's a lot of.
That's what I like. But the thing is, that's the context that was explained to me by the person who gave me the thing. It could easily not be what the act was actually happening in the comic. But so yeah,
There's a lot of alternate apocalyptic futures in the TMNT universe. So.
Okay. So point being that for me, like, it's just like, of course the Foot Clan are robots, and I think it makes sense in the context of when you brought in Krang and the Technodrome to be the real big bad. Of course their soldiers are robots, and I don't think. Oh, well, let's each have one.
Worst time to get a pizza.
Yeah, we could have used. Careful.
Sorry, I was confused where the edge was.
So the
What is this? Okay. Well, now there's water.
Oh, is it going to be the alligator? The crocodile guy? Have we fought him yet?
Leatherhead.
There it is, Leatherhead.
This is Cajun Leatherhead.
Yeah.
Not always a Cajun. He's got a shotgun. Jesus. Leatherhead, come on, man.
So, yeah, I think that,
Sorry.
I don't think the cartoon series would benefit in any way by adding the, like, you know, the Foot Clan recruits, like, troubled children.
Does.
I don't know that that would add anything to the context of this cartoon series, so I don't know that it loses anything. And then just in terms of, like, you could never have them fight, basically, with the
Well, that was the
standards
issue
and practices
introduced.
of the time.
They did make them mostly human in the 2003 series, and that was the issue introduced with Leonardo and Raphael. When
Yeah.
one of Leo's core moves that he would do all the time, which is definitely not.
Is it sticking the katana in a dude and throwing them?
No. It's sticking the katana into the ceiling, and then using them as mounts to do a kick to the face.
Oh, see, I thought what you were getting at was he had a core move they couldn't use. Not that they had to make up a
They had to make up
kind of silly move for him to constantly do.
Yeah. As opposed to more modern series, which totally just. I remember the CGI cartoon series had an episode where they teamed up with Yosagi Yojimbo, the classic anthropomorphic bunny character. And in that episode, Yosagi straight up kills dudes all the time, and no one comments on it. There was a amazing scene in which he shoots. Game over.
Okay, I will do my very best to win this for the team. Oh no, but this is our we don't know if it's our last continue or our second last continue.
In which case, it's down to you either way. But yeah, there's a scene where Yosagi unhorses a guy, and then just hits some dudes with arrows, and they just go down. And like
that'll kill you.
He does. Oh, the face squeeze.
You want to know what I thought Usagi Yojimbo's name was when I was a lad?
What?
Usagi Jimbo. Specifically because my uncle Sandy always called me Jimbo.
I see.
Oh, he got me. I was so close too.
He was smashing.
Right. And that is a true game over.
That is a true game
All
over.
right. Wait, no, it's not. Never mind.
What?
No.
Where did this continue come from?
This was the one continue we hit. So.
Oh, okay. So that's fine. We've got one more continue. That's
there.
good.
Here we go. This is it.
Back to delete.
I mean,
Donnie.
obviously, I think it's fair to say probably this stage of one more. Or you could have two in the Technodrome, I suppose.
Well, it could be a double boss thing. It could be we have to fight Shredder and Krang. In which case, the last stage would kind of be 2 stages.
That sounds about right. Ah, damn.
You did that the first time, too.
Yeah.
You really love walking right up to that top wall.
Yeah, my first instinct is get away from the ledge.
Okay. Oop. Okay. You get the timing. Oop. Not this time,
There you
boys.
go. Yeah. And that gun only has enough charge for one rush.
Yeah.
If you don't manage to clothesline them with your lightning chain guns, it's over. You got to do it just right with a fist fight. At that point, you're like, oh man, I should have just applied to be a sword guy.
There's no applications for robots. I do think both the CGI cartoon and the 2003 cartoon eventually had it be like, they start with human recruits and then they bring in robots later down the road. The CGI cartoon specifically had it be that they were running out of people to recruit in New York City.
Yeah.
Which was a sort of dark implications there.
Well, it could just be because after they get beaten up but not killed by our heroes, they, think like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Although, frankly, as soon as we have literal mutant Ninja Turtles, teenage or otherwise, cleaning up the streets, I think it stops being worth it to become an amateur evil ninja. What is in it for you? I know that you feel like your parents don't understand you or something, but I don't know.
Is this? Yeah, this is these guys.
What else do you got going on gaming-wise, Greg? Started any new games in the 1 week since we last spoke?
I have not, because I know that games are coming.
Yes.
With the birthday.
With your birthday, yes.
So I imagine I will be starting a new game this week. Again, what it might be, I can't say. But in the meantime, I'm taking a week away from games. I am focusing on my work. Gotten some rejection letters from agents, which is great.
Because they're bothering to answer you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody's looking.
Nice.
These guys are not very effective.
I assume these are just agents for your writing?
Yes.
Okay. It's like there can't possibly be agents for I homebrew Dungeons and Dragons traps.
No, there is not. As far as I know, I'm sure somebody makes money somewhere. But yeah, I haven't actually focused on my game in a while. I should get back to it.
Yeah.
What I really need to do is playtest.
For all that work that I put in, proofreading and offering editorial input on your manual.
Hey man, if you wanna join a playtest, let me know.
Well, yeah, certainly one problem there was that our playtesting plan was for you to run it with me, Rich, and Robert, and then Robert never spoke to us again. Until today, I spoke to Robert for the first time since his son was born.
How is Robert?
Robert's doing well.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yes. Given to the situation. It's not a happy day. Well, I mean, I'm glad it's your birthday.
Yes, but I can recognize that other things are happening in the world.
Yes. But yeah, no, Robert's doing well.
That's good. That's good to hear.
And, I was concerned because my friend Robert's he's not like the biggest jackass guy at all. But he is a pretty big guy. But I was just concerned that during this period where he's become consumed by not even raising, because this is still a baby. Not a baby, but
you raise a baby.
It's not. No, you keep the baby alive.
Yeah, but you're not going to get to raise anything if.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not like instilling morals in a 15-month.
No, not serious morals.
No.
God, the fact that I know there's pizza is really. I'm like
putting the pressure on you to not. Okay,
I,
get away from this guy. Just let me do it. Oh man, why does his... Okay, it's like a dodge roll.
Just let me do it.
Right.
Oh shit. There we go.
Alright, there. Should've just let you handle it. Yeah, okay, well, maybe we will get a playtest in the summer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh man, come on, stop killing my friend. There we go. Well. At least one of us needs to not lose our life.
Well, it's not gonna be
me. And now it's me. Jeez, pressure's on. Why did I say that out loud, knowing that it would ultimately be me with all the pressure?
Oh,
jeez, the mini boss.
Okay, I'm less concerned now.
I'm probably not getting to the pizza, but I'll try.
Of course you'll try. The goal is to try. do it.
This
Yeah.
is perfect.
You
Yes.
got him. You got
Stay
him.
aggroed on Leo, you chump. No! No!
Ah,
Oh, man.
that was perfect though. You got some really good hits in there.
Wrist bitten to death, but it's so frustrating because look, now he's done flashing. He's almost finished. Oh, no. That was just the illusory piece flashing that you get from really consistently wailing on him. Well, we will both derive mild benefit from the forthcoming pizza. So fun.
Nothing I love more than mild.
It's not nothing.
Mild benefit.
Oh, jeez. The pizza is less forthcoming than I thought. Which
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
there's a whole stage.
Okay, maybe we'll get beat up even more and
then the
derive
pizza
even
will
more
be-
benefit.
Yeah.
Alright. Every hit we take that doesn't knock us out is actually a gift. It's increasing the value of the pizza that we notice right up ahead of us.
Did you ever, speaking of RPGs, did you ever play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles RPG?
I did not even know it existed.
Really?
Is this
Teenage Mutant Ninja
video-
Turtles and Other Strangeness?
a video game RPG or
No,
a
this is a tabletop RPG.
Okay, no. Just for future reference, Greg, the total sum of RPGs that I've played on a tabletop are Dungeons and Dragons 2nd, 3.5, 4th, and 5th edition, and the most recent edition of Culpa.
I believe that's the 6th edition. So Call of Cthulhu is the current one.
Sounds about right. And then, for that matter, I've never played that. I've only ever run it.
DM'd it?
Yeah.
Or, well,
GM.
keepered it?
Yeah, keeper, whatever it is.
It's a keeper.
Yeah.
It's a trapper keeper.
So yeah, no. Seems like, in some obvious ways it would be limiting.
What, the TMNT?
Yeah.
TMNT and Other Strangeness is the name of that game?
Yeah. Well, like in the sense that,
You'd think
do you,
that, but
do
it's
you
actually...
roll
it
up
was
your
a-
own Leonardo, You know what I
You
mean?
do, yeah. You
Oh.
make your own mutant. It has a. It's an old school game. This came out. This actually predates the cartoon.
Wow.
The first adaptation of the Turtles was this game, outside of the core medium of comics. Here we go. Get some pizza. Walk off the edge. Get some pizza. So the core in fact, the RPG reported that they lost money when the cartoon and movies came out because they felt it may have been too kiddie for the RPG, for the tabletop RPG
Oh, yeah.
players of the 80s.
Yeah, for like wretched nerds who
Yeah.
would never want to spend any time around your life if they were the only people you knew who were willing to play.
Yeah, but the game had a spin-off called After the Bomb, which was a post-apocalyptic where everybody was transformed into mutants. They used all the same mechanics, but just,
Ah,
there was no foot of turtles, so it wasn't technically... They didn't technically have to pay a license. Because nobody can copyright just the idea of anthropomorphic animals.
no.
Not even mutant ones.
Which is good, because if you could copyright that, Disney would have, and you couldn't have the Ninja Turtles in the first one.
Mm-hmm. But some famous mutant animals. Very few people know that the adaptation of Robin Hood is actually post-apocalyptic. All those people were once humans.
What?
No.
Okay. You had me, like, I stopped being with you when you said that they were once humans. But I was willing to believe that there's, like, some Easter egg that reveals that, like, these anthropomorphic animals live in the, like, year 3500 or something after the humans have all been killed. Something.
World War VIII. But anyway, yeah, a really beloved game. It had a...
Yeah, he gave...
No,
You missed
he
it,
came
but
over to us before.
this is our second run at Leatherhead. He ended our game. This is our last continue now. And I feel like we're definitely going to beat him, but it's going to have a...
It's going to be a rough for the final.
Yeah, he is not setting us up for success in the final level. Oh, man. If it wasn't for the fact that his default melee attack is a
Big
spinning
tailspin.
area, he stayed aggroed
There
on
we
you
go.
after you died there.
He did.
So I could have just wailed on him until the end except he was able to hit me while running an attack at you.
Face squeeze. I think it's a really interesting character because every adaptation of him takes a different spin on how intelligent he is. Sometimes he's like the most intelligent person, and sometimes he's like a raging, like, mindless monster.
Cajun?
Well, this version is sort of an interesting one because he is neither super intelligent or super dumb. He's just sort of...
Just Cajun?
Just Cajun. Well, he's not flashing, but he's also solid, which is not...
It's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So, for future reference, when he does the grab move, you can interrupt it and save your friend from taking up to 3 bars of damage.
I thought I'd just... Nice.
Alright, we got him.
You seem like you had it.
And I got a 1-up, so that's nice too.
Yeah,
excellent.
You still have 2?
Alright. Well. Will they extend the game by...
Let's find April, then we'll get that Bogart shredder.
He's bogarting all the Manhattan.
Yeah, he is. I mean, other people want Manhattan too. Alright. This is gonna be 4 traps.
I certainly wouldn't be super comfortable continuing to stand in those vent-like sections.
Exactly.
Which just seem like they're designed to have really thick, like Mega Man 2 Quick Man level style.
Well, these are new guys.
I remember these dudes.
They remind me of the Fugitoid.
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to be the Fugitoid, but they remind me of them.
They remind me of nothing except this particular enemy in this particular level of this video.
The Fugitoid is a reoccurring TMNT character from actually really early days in the comics. I think he's in like issue 3.
Ah, yeah. Did he kill his wife?
No, he didn't kill his goddamn wife, but the other guy
I don't
doesn't
care.
He was a scientist whose mind was put into the body of a robot, and was a fugitive from the Ultrams, I think.
Is this character in the original cartoon at any point?
I don't know if he's ever in the original cartoon, but he's in like
Sounds
all
familiar.
the other cartoons.
And I've never watched any of the other ones. So.
He's voiced by David Tennant in the CGI cartoon.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's a good character. I like the Fugitoid.
Cool.
He was actually, interestingly, he was Mirage's attempt at a second comic. They wanted the Fugitoid to be like his own book.
Was it like a backdoor pilot where he was introduced in the Ninja Turtles?
It was.
Uncle Phil was Shredder.
He was indeed.
James Avery.
Avery.
I don't think it would be fair to say that the standards for cartoon voice acting were high at the time, and yet Mr. James Avery really brought it as Shredder. They do kind of look like those.
The Metal Turtle was Metalhead? I think? It was like yellow. But, it was a backdoor pilot. I think there was also a one-off issue. Mirage back in the day used to do a lot of one-off issues. But obviously, Mirage was kind of always a one comic book publisher.
Yeah.
They used to do a thing called, what did they call them? Oh, don't get that pizza.
No, not yet.
Ah! I tried not to.
Well, at least you got to level up to comfortably.
I did, yeah.
For not maximizing your healing. I gotta take it just to get behind this guy. Hey, stupid. Turn around before you shoot. Speaking of that hockey rink arcade in the summer, I can never remember what this game is called, even though I've looked it up on Wikipedia several times to remind myself that it does exist. It's not just a fever dream. But there was this game. It was like gameplay-wise, it's like your Dragon's Lair. Like it's just like watch a cutscene and then at the exact right moment hit the exact right inputs.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't have a screen.
Dragon's Lair, a game that could never have survived in the day and age where you can just look up what it looks like when it's done.
Yeah, but it didn't have a screen. It had hologram-based graphics, and it was about like a time-traveling cowboy or something. Anyway, the one thing I specifically remember about it is watching a dude on a scene that I never made it to, where the input was very, very quickly hit the joystick in the direction that'll make your guy turn around to shoot the guy who's popped up behind him.
Oh,
And so
yes.
he kept losing. And then
This reminds
then
me
it mocks you
very
by
much.
going, turn around before you shoot. Ha ha.
There's an old one of these games where it's all live action, and it's like
Yeah, I believe it was
Yeah. I think we might be thinking of the same
live
one.
action holograms.
When you die, is there like an old timey Old West funeral director guy?
Probably, except again, I've told you every single thing I actually definitely remember.
Fever Dream. You said before.
Yeah, like there were times when I was like, sounds like a thing that I'm making up. That there was a hologram game in the hockey rink
these
arcade when I was a kid. I remember these guys.
These guys.
Oh man.
These guys went down pretty easy.
I'm generally skeptical of nostalgia as a thing to like actively indulge in, and yet the most commentary I can add most of the time is compared to your Ninja Turtles knowledge. Most of what I can add is just, I remember this, which is going to be true of all of us because I played this game a bunch when I was a kid.
Yep. Who are you? Oh, this is
These
the manufacturing them.
Yeah. Okay. So this officially disproves my theory that I was going to say earlier that maybe they manufacture them all naked and then they send them into a room full of miscellaneous uniforms. And then when they come up, yeah.
Number X. That was cool.
Oh man. I only remember probably the one most famous one of that Chris Farley show with Paul McCartney, where he's like, remember at the end of Abbey Road when he said, in the end the love you take is equal to the love you make? And he's like, well yeah. And he's like, is that true? And then Paul McCartney's like, well yeah, I've always found that you get out of life what you put into it. And then Chris Farley goes, awesome!
Chris Farley. Classic. Ooh! I don't know why, but I was just thinking about Tommy Boy just the other day.
Huh.
I was remembering the Big Man in a Little Jacket, which is a bit he does in that movie when they're at their lowest point, and so he puts on David Spade's jacket. Big Man in a Little Jacket, which is apparently something he actually did with David Spade in real life, just all the time. It was just a bit whenever he entered a room that David Spade was in. He would just take his jacket and go, Big Man, Little Jacket!
Besides, like, a handful of SNL bits, the main role that I remember
enemies to this.
Chris Farley for is his small part in Norm Macdonald's Dirty Work. I suppose technically it should be called Bob Saget's Dirty Work since he drew it.
No. I hate this. Sorry, I shouldn't say I hate this. This was actually fairly simple.
And it's actually, like, it's playing fair.
It is
like,
playing
I
super
can
fair.
tell where the things are and
me
plan to avoid them.
Yeah,
It'd be great if they gave us some pizza right now. I would consider that solid game design.
I would hate it. I think it was terrible game design. Because I don't hate it. I like that these robots take slightly more hits than the regular foot soldiers as well. I think they take 3.
They take 3. And they can take a knee if you... for the same reason, because I assume the damage points of the throw move are 2 damage points since they one-shot all the... Okay.
What's going on here?
Somebody comes out here.
Oh, who is this? This guy looks a hell of a lot like Razor.
I was going to say, isn't this Razor? Why can't it be?
Because he's from the movie.
Well, then, if it's not officially Razor, then probably it's a... You know, we had to design a new character, so we made this guy who's kind of like that guy from the movie.
Well, he might not be. He's doing unique things. The whole
Spitting pellets.
whatever that is, yeah.
Well, again, it's a... And he's not in TMNT 4. He's a... So we're gonna... canonically, we're gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, canonically he dies after this.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still locked onto you. That's fantastic. Yes, stay.
All right, this is cheap and yet.
Oh my god. He's not unlocking at all.
He's a damage sponge, but yeah, he's just gonna fight. Okay,
Oh,
there he goes. All right, I'm back in it. I especially don't feel bad about the exploit on account of how many times you hit him and he is not flashing.
God, yeah. There we go.
He has strong defense against air attacks. Jumping attacks.
There. Whoop, no, you just hit number one.
Yeah. No, it's a different
He's-
flashing. It's not the bright flash. It's a deeper flash from near death.
Come on. Yeah, getting up in the. Oh shit. Getting up beside him is a good way to roll the base. I don't like that they freeze you.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
he
see
is.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's- It
Oh.
does have the bright color in it, but it's flashing much more quickly.
Yeah, so this is my
Greg-
parents. I'll be right back.
Greg needs to take a phone call, so I
Hello.
will riff for a moment here.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm failing terribly already at riffing. What should I say? This is weird. Both professionally and in my hobby, the main thing I do is just constantly speak. And yet here I am. Don't have a clue. Really, really enjoying playing this game again. And like I said, I've got a little bit of emulator-based TMNT 4 on Super Nintendo experience. Have never touched the arcade game. And that's where we're going next. And that might be very soon. Ooh, I think there's another one up for me at 100,000. It's still going to be real dicey for us to win. But who knows? It could happen. And if it does happen, it'll be real good. I guess we'll find it. Oh, thank God, Greg's back. I was dying up here, buddy.
That was my mommy and daddy wishing me a happiest birthday.
Nice.
Oh, fuck. Wow, we came back at a bad time. Oh, he's not flashing
He's
anymore.
off the flash.
That's
He's
great.
done. He's done. Unless he's like a D&D troll.
We got
No. Okay. Good.
Great. Good stuff.
Oh.
Oh. April. Oh, it's right. Oh shit. I told you it was gonna be one of these. This has to be the last level then.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless we're
so-
fighting Krang, and I don't think
Oh
we
no. Oh man, I'm 300 points away from a 1-up. But we might get points for beating Shredder, but we might not even. Assuming that Krang is also coming in here.
Well, I was just saying I don't know if we're fighting Krang.
Yeah, who knows?
Shredder does damage. He's taking hits though.
Yep.
There are other enemies that are much harder, like the mole. The issue with him was that it was hard to hit him, period. Ooh! That was quite the catch.
Just trading blows like professional wrestlers deep in match. Or, I guess nowadays, professional wrestlers
At the beginning of the match.
constantly throughout the match. Alright. Last life for Greg.
Last life for Greg.
Life and a bit for me.
You only get one life.
Come on, Shredder. Just summon 2 foot soldiers.
Hey man, look how close
Just to
I
remind
am.
us that you're a leader of men.
He's not though. He's a leader of robots.
Yeah, he's... In fact, it shows a real lack of leadership when you need programmed servants, minions, because you can't win people to your side with your charisma. Even though, as we discussed, voiced by James Avery, this is actually a very charismatic character. Okay, next time he comes for me, I'm spamming my spinning katana move like crazy, so just keep your distance.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna come anywhere near you.
Yeah, I'm just up here. Okay,
Oh.
didn't get a lot of
You
that.
got 2 hits.
So I got more than 0. Alright,
It was tough.
I think I'll keep Leo because that's the move I want to be spamming if I'm going to be desperately trying to get us over the finish line. nowhere as close to him.
I know I'm not.
I know.
I was testing something.
You really, yeah, you don't want to leave your feet while fighting Shredder.
No. He can catch you in midair and he does a big hit on you if he does. Jumping to get around is fine, but don't jump anywhere near him or into him. Oh, wow.
Okay, but he's gonna do Super Shredder, he's gonna summon Krang. It's painful how close this is. If this truly is the end, then we're gonna win, but I don't think it is.
It feels like there's one more now, just based on how
Give us
this
some
is
goddamn
gone.
points for beating Shredder.
I got some points because I got the final blow.
That seems flawed. And yet, we've won the game.
Oh, hey! Thank you! Look!
Hell yes.
Isn't that Crank's spaceship
okay.
in the sky above Manhattan Island?
God damn it, April. Did you have to point that out?
Hey, Shredder's getting away!
That's why you should always pin your defeated foe to the floor with a katana through the chest.
Alright.
Well, I gotta level up.
You got some points?
I don't think...
We're not, I mean, for the final, scene 7. Hey, Turtles, take to the sky. We can't let him get away.
Comma splice. Take to the sky in a space elevator?
Not just your regular old outdoor elevator. These are clearly...
Alright, she didn't say it's in space above. Anyway, this might... I think in our tour of the beat-em-up, this is our earliest experience of what seems to me like a real standard trope of the beat-em-up, the elevator sequence.
I think there's been sequence... Wow.
Like, Double Dragon 2 has the helicopter level, which is very similar in concept.
Oh, hello. Oof. Didn't know they could crush you.
That's really all they can do. That's their main attack on them.
I know, but the first time we fought these guys, we got them out of the air right away. So do you think we're fighting just straight Krang, or some sort of Krang, Shredder, Super mix, or...
I don't know.
Can't...
I hope we're fighting any of them. I hope that we make it up there and fight one. Looks like, I mean, we can confirm that 150,000 is not a level up point. So... maybe 200,000 is, and maybe we get you there, but I don't think...
I'm getting a lot of points.
Feels like pizza is not a likely gift for us to receive.
I feel like if they're gonna give us pizza on any level, it might be at the top of this elevator. But if there's none at the top of this elevator and this level continues, we ain't getting pizza. Oop, shit. Dang, you knocked me off the edge. I'm gonna do it again too. Can't keep getting away with this.
Get ready to start spamming your rabbit kick.
Yeah, rabbit kick is this my go-to move.
Oh, but carefully because...
Well,
okay.
it doesn't matter. I didn't get a chance.
And then I didn't get a chance because it's more demanding on the button press timing than Double Dragon, which I guess it has to be.
On the bucket,
because,
on the button press.
Yeah, I guess Double Dragon can't be that demanding because it's jump.
Yeah.
Not the last-ditch effort move that I suppose you probably don't want to be constantly triggering.
This is a lot of time of just standing around. We actually got to see our idle animations.
Yeah. Okay, we've made it. We're at the top.
I hope there's not pizza. Because we're both at full health, basically. Alright, we got more level.
Oh, man.
This is a skyscraper. Yeah, this is the top of... I'm going to say the Empire State Building, even though the Empire State Building doesn't have a big flat roof like this.
Yeah, but
I'm assuming if we zoom out, we're going to be on the tallest
but
building.
very few buildings have roofs as with as much area as I'm assuming we're going to find out this one does. So in my
So-
gaming
yeah.
recently, I guess this is if you want to start getting hyped for long down the road, Greg and James content. I've been playing Super Ghouls and Ghosts a little in my spare time this week because I came up with a gimmick that we're going to do in Halloween, where I love the Ghosts and Goblins series personally, and I'm going to make Greg play them. We're going to tour that series for the duration of October. And the show will be called...
That's not even a useful weapon on this roof, because there's so much room around the range.
Yeah.
Like in the sewers where there's like a little walkway.
They need an upgraded version of the weapon.
Yeah, that's much longer.
But yeah, are you ready for this? The show is going to be called Greg and James and Ghosts and Goblins. I worked backwards from the title to the concept there.
I mean, you didn't have far to go for work.
No.
We're going to play Ghosts and Goblins.
What will we do on the show, Greg and James and Ghosts and Goblins?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's a fun way to spend out the month of October.
I'll be interested to see. You talked about, when we started this, you talked about hoping that putting all this time in would make you better at action games.
Yes.
I'm really interested to see if I can coach you into getting anywhere in any Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts game.
I've beaten action games before.
Oh yeah, but like this is.
It's intense. I know.
Yeah.
He's got one more hit on him. There we go.
Yeah, and then beyond that, it's all like not too much of that to begin with. But then other than that, it's just gaming for the people. This weekend I started, which I'm very excited about, playthrough of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Pool of Radiance. Speaking of first ever adaptations, not the first ever adaptation of Dungeons & Dragons intellectual property to a video game. In fact, the very first video game, to complete a thought from much earlier, that I ever played as a kid was the second in television Dungeons & Dragons game, which is not a role-playing game of any kind, but is like a sort of downstream of the Atari 2600 game Adventure.
Yeah.
Back when, so the reason that's the first game I ever played is because I knew what Nintendo was for some reason. I'd seen Mario somewhere, probably at my cousin's, or at my
probably just around the club.
Yeah, and so I wanted a Nintendo. I was like 4, and my parents didn't want to spend money on it. And then they told me, we've got a thing.
No, not to that.
Oh man.
Oh, that sucks.
It's poetic, but like shitty poetry.
Yeah, like slam poetry.
Yeah,
Doesn't even.
Yeah, my parents were like, well, we have a thing in the attic that's like a Nintendo. To begin with, I don't know why my parents had it in television and had stuck it in the attic at all. I guess they probably were using it, but like, you can't foresee that your kid's gonna want to play with this. You put it in an uninsulated attic. So then, after getting me hyped on that, they brought it downstairs and discovered it didn't work. And so, we took a trip. Oh man. Took a trip. Let's see, did we earn a continue? No, of course not. End. Alright.
That's it. That's
well,
it, my friend.
What do you feel? Do you feel like you want to just... Do we go to...
We got so far
Turtles in Time?
yeah.
Or do we try it again and see if we can beat it?
I say we try it again. We're probably not going to be able to finish it this week.
No.
But I say we give it one more try, because
right.
I think we can do a lot better.
One more shot. Okay.
Now, do you want to play it with Friendly Fire still? Or do
Yes.
You want to... Okay.
There's no honor in beating the game by making it easier for ourselves.
This is not an honorable place.
So...
Donnie's my guy.
Yeah, so they took me to my godparents,
Yeah.
who had, I remember, not only an Intellivision and lots of games for it, and probably also like a ColecoVision stuff a lot.
Hold on, in case there's people who haven't visited us before.
The turtles are enjoying their vacation on a beach in Florida, when suddenly... Come on! April's report is just about to start! We've switched
Raph,
roles.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah.
Here in New York, crime is escalating every day.
Gee, what happened?
Bummer, dude. Oh, sorry.
Bummer, dudes, it's Shredder.
I can imagine Shredder being
nice
yes,
to know.
it is quite a bummer.
Yes.
Turtles, I'm taking April along with Manhattan Island. If you want them back, come and get them.
You better not take the Bronx and Staten Island, too.
No, I'm leaving Staten Island. Let's go, Turtles. Start of a long, hard road.
Alright, so I guess the most important thing for us is to do very well on the early stages.
Yep.
Because we were doing just fine by the end there. Had we not lost more lives earlier.
Well, to be fair, I think we did exceptionally well for having
I think first go.
first go, yeah. And like not knowing, like I didn't even really know. I mean, we had just played the arcade,
Yeah.
so it's not like we didn't know the controls haven't really changed very much.
No.
But the feel of the enemies is different. Exactly. You know, like I know these guys now pretty well. I can feel pretty safe in my approach.
Oh, sure. Definitely the purple foot soldiers we ought to have a handle on by now. Oh, no. I did not mean to do that drill move. Although as soon as I saw it, I remembered it. Yeah, so... Oh, man, my godparents had well, I guess it would specifically be my godfather, Bob, had, in addition to like a television, and I assume a bunch of other now classic gaming systems. Actually, even then, because it was the era of the Nintendo Entertainment System by then. But he also just had so many board games, including a lot of like gimmicky electronic plastic thing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember one that was like, the game was about getting across like a shaky bridge, and it's like a little diorama, and it actually like had batteries and like rumbled, like the bridge was shaky and stuff. Cool stuff. Anyway, for whatever reason, it was like, you know, here kid, for your first video game, play this fucking opaque piece of shit. And I remember finding it like intimidating and terrifying. So it's like you're in a cave and there's a bat. But now I'm playing Pool of Radiance, which is the first ever adaptation of the Dungeons and Dragons rule set to a video game. And it's a lot of fun so far. I did a gimmick where I made a channel reward, so people could redeem their channel points for the right to create a party member. And 4 people did. You get a 6-person party. And so the kicker here
Beach. Helpful.
is that to begin with, this was not a system designed for power gaming or making any effort to optimize party composition. Add to that like, so one of the most important things in these gold box games, as they were called, get this, gold colored box. But one of the most important things is you need magic users.
Yeah.
Especially because as soon as possible, you want someone to have fireball. You want to mass damage stuff. And so nobody created a pure magic user. But 3 of the 4 created characters were either, in one case, is a multi-classed character who is a fighter cleric magic user. And then there's another multi-classed fighter magic user. And then 2 of the characters, one was going to be a fighter magic user and one a thief magic user, except they both wanted to be humans. And so I had to say to them, you know, you can't multi-class as a human in first edition AD&D, but you can dual class. So what do you want to start at? And then we'll dual in, because dual classing is instead of being all the classes at once and leveling up in them all at once, you go as far as you want to go in one class and then dual over to the other.
Which is what modern multi-classing is.
Yeah, so you maintain the benefits of your former class and all its levels, but now all of your experience is going to the new one. Oh man. And so...
You are getting distracted talking about this, I can tell.
I am, but I'm hanging in
game.
there. We made it to the boss.
Yes, we've made it to Rocksteady.
So I will try to play a real good defensive game here. Okay, I'm playing a poor defensive game. Actually, I wasn't doing terrible. I had very little room for error.
Rocksteady.
Oh man, yeah, totally failed to press both buttons at the same time there. Okay, so let's keep you from losing a life, hopefully, And
I mean, we haven't used to continue.
well,
I don't think we used to continue on the first one, but we
you
definitely
can't.
lost
You
more
continue
than
from the
once.
start of the stage.
That's true.
It's just at that point, hit reset. So the kicker is, they both decided they wanted to start in the either thief or fighter class, and it was after episode 1 this weekend that I was like, you know what? I better look up a bunch of mechanics here. Oh man, we were so close to getting you through, buddy. I should look up some mechanics that I don't quite understand. I'm not looking up spoilers for the game, but just like, how does backstabbing work for thieves in original D&D and stuff like that? And in the course of doing that, I discovered that dual classing was not made available in the Gold Box games until the sequel, Curse of the Azure Bonds, meaning that I just have a pure fighter and a pure thief, and the kicker with thief is that her dex is 13, because the gimmick was supposed to be that she is not a very good thief. She's trying to find her place in the world, and when she dual classes, she has high intelligence, so she finds herself. And that'll be cool if we go on to the sequel. But now she's just a poor thief who is not going to have good AC at any point in the game, in addition to not being good. And yet, you know what? In the first episode, she got more kills than anyone in the entire party with her sling from the back row. I don't know, like just dumb RNG luck, but that was good. Anyway, it's very exciting. But this party, here's the thing: we only have 2 magic users, neither of whom is a pure magic user, and that means that it's going to take a long time before we have Fireball. And the early parts of this game are going to be difficult as a result. I think I can handle it. I'm a smart guy and I'm good at tactics. But we'll see what happens. But it was fun. What I really like about Pool of Radiance so far,
The synchronization is on point.
what appeals to me a lot about the game thus far, is the scope. Because it's set in a massive world, Faerun, the Forgotten Realms, of which I know the names of places that have video games set in them.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Incredibly important.
Icewind Dale,
Yes.
Neverwinter,
Yes, all places that exist.
Hillsfar.
Sure.
But, and then I know that the broad gimmick is, long ago there was a great civilization, but that's gone. And now civilization is okay, but also there's these kick-ass ancient ruins everywhere. Now we've explained why there's all these dungeons, basically. Beyond that, I know nothing of the world. So there's vast scope to it in that sense. Like, I read the information, the backstory in the manual, and was just like, oh my god. I certainly hope this is not going to be on the test. You know?
Do you want to hear an interesting story about the origins of that world?
I do, but not yet.
Okay.
I want to finish my interesting story with this game. Which is, it's not actually a story, it's just that the scope of the actual game is that you are mercenaries hired by the council of the once great city of Flan. They're now the council of New Flan, which is a single district of Flan, because the rest of Flan is entirely taken over by monsters and other evil sorts. And so it's just all about cleaning up Flan and eliminating threats from the surrounding region so that the town can thrive and there can be a new trading outpost on the Moonsea. It's not about saving the world from certain destruction. It's a very locally focused story, which I like quite a bit. It reminds me of my favorite Dragon Age game, Dragon Age 2. I should clarify, I understand, I'm not a big fan of the Dragon Age series anyway, and I do not think that Dragon Age 2 is a particularly successful game. Does not live up to any of its ambitions, because they let EA own them, and as Richard Garriott before them learned, your RPG series will be ruined by being forced to be released before it's ready, if you let EA own you. And so the moral of the story is that Dragon Age 2 really doesn't populate the surrounding areas of the town in an interesting way, and so on. And yet it's still really cool to play a game in a single locale and see, like, over the course of the game what happens to it. And in Pool of Radiance, what I do know, as not even really a spoiler, but I know that this is a game where, as we clean up Flan, as we reclaim districts, they will change from, gameplay districts filled with enemies into town, like extended parts of the town.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like, you don't get a lot of the game world changing as your adventure carries on in the earlier RPGs. Even in like Ultima 6, which is far into the series that was like the benchmark for creating worlds. Literally, Origin's slogan was recreate worlds. But in Ultima 6, like, you know, at the start, Lord British is like, the gargoyles have taken over the shrines. You must liberate the shrines. And then when you've liberated all the shrines, if you go back to him and you say shrines, he says, the gargoyles have taken over the shrines. You must liberate the shrines. When you find out the gargoyles aren't evil, if you go to Lord British and say gargoyles, he tells you that the gargoyles have taken over the shrines. Like, the game doesn't know what you're, like, it's not, the world's not responding to your work.
Right.
Even though, in many other ways, Britannia is a pretty well thought out, developed world. So I'm really excited to just clean up the slums, for example. I'm in the slums right now. Slums of Old Flam.
Good.
So that's pretty cool. And then on Sunday, I had the least fun that I've ever had playing Ultima.
Oh no!
It worked out in the end, but get this. So at the very start, I was trying to get the Catalite Meteor chunks so that we could have a blacksmith named Zorn make us helmets that can resist the defenses on the Guardian's cube generator, which so that we can destroy the cube generator and acquire the cube prison.
Ah, dang, it's ground chuck.
So here we are. I had left off the previous day outside the room beyond which the Catalite chunks were. So it's very close. Within a half hour of the stream, I figured out how to get the Catalite chunks, got them made into the helmets, went into the cube generator, figured out the infuriating puzzle / trap room inside the cube generator, destroyed the cube generator, reclaimed the cube prism, and then, because I had kicked all my allies out, oh no, that must have been frustrating. But just wait, you want to talk about a game crashing at a specific point? I went to re-recruit my allies after finally completing this cube. And I'm all like, hey, Jana, rejoin the team. And she's like, I'm happy to travel again together, Avatar, because for whatever reason they don't have solo mode anymore. So if you want to go ahead without your party members, you have to actually kick them out of the party and then rehire them. And then I say goodbye, and she says, you know, take care or whatever. And then a message comes up on the screen that says, this copy of Ultima 7 has become corrupt. This is a rare issue that can usually be solved by reverting to an earlier save game. Press any key to revert.
Oh.
Okay, I hate this. Oh no, don't die. We can get you an extra life. Oh, you're not gonna die.
I'm not gonna die. Hopefully I can get that final blow and get that life.
Boom. Extra life for Greg.
It is.
And it's not it's not like with Shredder where it's like, now you're 90,000 points ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this sucks. I press the button, it reloads me to outside the cube. And the experienced Ultima 7, the Black Gateheads in the chat are all like, huh, never seen that before. And these are people who have told me about, like, you know, all the different playthroughs they do and the, like, sandbox shit they've done and all of this. And none of them have seen this error message before. I'm like, okay, let's try it again. Try it again, same thing happens. So then we started theorizing, like, what can we do differently about this quest? What if we actually get all 7 helmets made? So go back to before the Catalite chunks. Get all 7 helmets made, and then bring all 7 party members. Because the reason I had to kick some of them out was because I didn't have 7 helmets. Because of a glitch, I went with 7 chunks, and the guy only made me 5 helmets. And then he won't make helmets again.
So it's just glitches on glitches.
If you don't have all 7. So we thought maybe that is the glitch that set it up to not work. So we made sure that 1 helmet was created for each thing. We tried first with 2 helmets and get the party down to 2 people, have them both with helmets. Still crashed. We successfully got the 7, tried that again, still crashed. We've gone back to the furthest back save game that I had and like redone a bit of stuff. Still crashing. And so like finally I was like, someone had said much earlier, there is a cheating way to get the cube get the cube prism without going in the cube generator. And I was like, I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. But now we had spent like 2.5 hours, 3 hours around just doing the same really frustrating sequence again and again and again, and then watching it crash. So I was like, all right, I'm ready to cheat. And they told me about the cheat room, which you can enter in the first town in the game if you stack up boxes to make a staircase so you can walk onto the roof of the smithy and then go behind the chimney. And you get teleported to an area that contains 8 full magic armor sets so that you could outfit every party member in magic armor. Untold riches in gold gems, gold bars, gold chunks, whatever, gold nuggets. All this stuff. And then also, what is the last thing I want to say here? Also, every reagent you could possibly want. And then finally, every plot item in the entire game. And then a set of teleporters to every important plot area. Was this a testing room? It was not. It was a gimmick. Just a pure cheat room put in by rogue underling programmers for their own fun. It's actually kind of a fun story because a more senior programmer discovered the room late in the game. I was like, oh, very funny. I'm going to mess with these guys. And so he reprogrammed the portal, the original portal, which was not on the smithy behind the chimney. He reprogrammed the original portal so that it's still there, and the cheat room is still there. But now the portal takes you to a different, not connected to the world map cave, where you appear, Lord British is there, he gives you a lecture about how cheating is wrong, and then he kills you.
Oh, jeez.
But then the rogue programmers discovered that and added a whole new portal that does go to the cheat room, and that one made it in the game. So it took me quite a while to get the boxes stacked properly, and then I went in and accidentally stepped on a teleporter before I had acquired the cube prism, and I was like, okay, so I guess I gotta get out of here and come back around. So I picked a random teleporter in the room of dozens of, like a couple, maybe 16 teleporters to key plot locations, and I picked the one that warps you into the final dungeon. And so then I was like, okay, fine. We gotta go back before I entered the cheat room, and we gotta try it again. So this time I was like, okay, I'm gonna kick the party members out because there aren't enough boxes in the dead guy's smithy to make the stairs. And so when you're getting boxes from live people's homes and shops, your party members are going, Avatar, is that virtuous? Is that virtuous? Is that virtuous? And eventually, if they get mad enough at you for constantly stealing, they will quit the party.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, got to not trigger that. So I got the party members out, and then I went into the shop where I had taken them all before, and for the first time, an NPC noticed me stealing. And this same NPC hadn't noticed me stealing the same boxes before. This time he noticed, and he called the guards on me. An experience I'd had in Ultima Online, but I didn't even know it could happen here. And then infinite guards come and you will be killed. So It took multiple tries to successfully enter the cheat room, get the cube prism, get out. So in the end, playing straight, I had the cube prism in the first half hour of the stream. And then we spent an additional 3 hours
actually getting
the cube prism. 3 hours, maybe 15 minutes. And then the cube prism is awesome because once you have it, when you talk to the fellowship members, it compels them to be honest. So I'm extremely excited for next week. Sorry, Slash, but I gotta kill you before you take either of us in. There we go.
I think you got that kill. I don't even know. Yeah, you did.
Hey, we're tied now.
Hey.
Oh. Back on track?
Oh,
Take
2
one.
pizzas. Loving it.
So, what's the end point here? Oh, yeah. So, to end the stream, I did go to the Fellowship Head intrinsic with the cube, like, where the ritual murder that kicks off the plot occurs, and you talk to him, and he's like, you know, everything you ask him, he's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I was sleeping, so I don't know what was happening, all this. And it is so satisfying to ask him those same questions again, and instead, the dialogue starts with, the cube vibrates, and then he's just like, Like you're like, who's this pirate Hook? And he's like, oh, the pirate Hook is the Fellowship member who was tasked with murdering Christopher. You're like, awesome. And then like you ask him about the murder, and he's like, quite like excellent work on that ritual murder, eh? Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I had to be at home to create my alibi. And it's just gonna be so satisfying because these Fellowship members, oh man, they're so obviously the bad guys. Like, I did not need my master's degree in English literature to figure out early on. In fact, when I read the manual, that the Fellowship was bad news. But and so it's super frustrating to constantly be talking to them and to talk to other people who think that they're like upstanding citizens that are making Britannia great again. I'm gonna go back through the whole game. Like, you only need to go to one specific guy in Buccaneer's Den to get him to let you into the secret tunnels so you can find out Pirate Hook has gone to the Isle of the Avatar, which I already sequence broke. Because you can also just get in with the telekinesis spell by flipping the switch inside. So I've broken that part of the plot, and I already knew that it was going to converge on the Isle of the Avatar. That's all you need to do. But I'm going to every town again and getting all the satisfying truth I can get out of these guys. I'm most hopeful that in Minnoch, the city of craftsmen and the city of that embodies the virtue of sacrifice. I assume because craftsmen sacrifice for their art.
Yeah, well, they sacrifice their, wood.
Yeah. Anyway.
I know.
Yeah, but kicker here being that there's a lot to be said for the let's just gut it out and wail on it strategy. We don't want you to get game over.
Yeah.
And okay. And now
okay. Bam.
We're out of time on the me taking hit strategy. We gotta win this fight, so you gotta be careful.
I'm being careful. Look at me up here being careful. Zoning in on me though. He loves hitting me. He can sense my weakness. Oops, somebody's playing something, but it's blocked by our ingenious branding.
It's actually blocked by the crop filter on the switch feed.
Well,
yeah, so in Minnoch, there's a public works project to build a giant statue in tribute to the local shipwright. Except that
his focus on me is being good for you, though.
Oh God, we're so close.
Come on, no!
Oh, damn it, Bebop. Okay, I've got to get through this.
You gotta. Oh, come on.
Why did I say that out loud? This is painful. Oh, no, no, no!
Come on, he's not flashing. Ah! Neither of you are connecting. There you go. Choke him out a little bit.
Oh! It's because I didn't let go of down when I got on the plane with him. That's extraordinarily frustrating.
That is very frustrating.
Okay. Well, one continue down. Here we go.
Continue down.
Anyway, so it's very easy, even when talking to the people praising him, you're like, this guy is definitely a terrible shipwright.
Yeah.
But then in other towns, you meet good shipwrights, and when you bring him up, they're like, that fucking guy. So it's so annoying to me that they're building this statue to him. So I'm most excited for the hope that he's going to confess that he knows he's not a good shipwright.
Just that he knows he's not good.
Like, he is not, like, I gotta be clear. This guy is far down the list of Fellowship members who are horrible and evil and, like, deserve to be exposed to the world.
Yeah.
I just don't like a guy getting plaudits he doesn't deserve. Especially when the humble shipwright in New Magentia is just honing his craft. In addition to his humility, show more sacrifice than the bad shipwrights.
Oh, that guy lends
So
a
anyway,
lot of turning
it was
around.
very frustrating, but now we're staring down victory.
Nice.
Depending on whether I decide that I want to do the expansion, add-on pack. which I found out afterwards is probably the cause of the bug.
Oh. Yeah.
Because even this game, you would think a game-breaking bug that severe at a necessary plot point would definitely be caught in playtesting. But it's obviously they could not playtest the main game alongside the expansion they had.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't have the expansion budget to be like, now we need to playtest the entire base game to make sure we haven't introduced a weird game-breaking bug. So I probably could, if I had done the expansion already, it probably would have fixed the error, and then I could have done it pure. But I did experience doing it pure. It was frustrating. The cube puzzle was very annoying. It was cool enough. Just frustrating to do with the ultimate 7 controls. Anyway, that's my gaming. And then this with you.
And then this that we're playing now. Do you want to hear an interesting story about the Forgotten Realms?
Yes.
I learned this from the fantastic book Slaying the Dragon, which is a history of TSR, the game company that founded, created Dungeons & Dragons. Well, whatever. So the man that invented the Forgotten Realms had actually written for Dragon Magazine.
Yeah.
And he wrote a series of articles featuring a wizard character called Elmister, who visits him in his home in Wisconsin, and they have conversations. And at the time,
this is the legendary member of the book.
yeah, Jesus, there it goes. At the time, they were actually
Just getting this picture on the wall.
they were looking out for a new setting that they could possibly base their game on, because they needed a new setting. They couldn't use Greyhawk anymore for whatever reason. Probably related to Gary Gygax's on-again relationship. Yeah. And so they were like, hey, when this wizard comes to visit him, sometimes he's like, oh yeah, I was off here, I was off in Icewind Dale visiting my friend, or I just fought the thingamabob and whatever bit. It's like, maybe this guy has an idea. So they reached out to him.
And he was just making up place names without thinking about any lore.
No, James. This is a D&D nerd. He had an extensive, huge, incredibly detailed world.
Okay.
But he reached out and he was like, yeah, I'd love to send some stuff along. He's like, great, we might be able to publish it for you. We might be interested in buying it. And the guy said, I gotta admit, I've been using Elmister in these articles for a long time. I thought you already owned it. And the guy responsible for this would reach out to him and said, I'm not going to tell anyone you said that. Please send your material to us.
Well, that's kind of it.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I think that is exactly the kind of statement you don't want to have made on the record if there's going to be a copyright fight later.
And yeah, no, apparently he sent along a map of the Sword Coast and the Forgotten Realms that he had made on individual pieces of 8x12 graph paper.
Yeah.
And the only place where they could put them together, that they would all fit together, was in a stairwell. They ended up being almost 2 stories tall.
Wow.
So yeah, it came highly detailed.
Yeah, so far, the game hasn't done much to, beyond introducing me to the city of Flan.
Yeah.
And, I read the prologue, so I learned a lot about the Moonsea region. But it hasn't, beyond that, so far, it's not, doing a lot to give me the sense of, wow, there's so much here beyond the scope of this game. But everything I hear is that it will do that, which is cool.
I mean, it's also, it's true, there is a lot more beyond the scope. The settings of D&D, God, I used to, so I read RPG manuals for fun sometimes.
Yep.
But the settings of D&D, you gotta really explain these guys, I find. Look,
yeah.
You just get within the range where they can't quite hit you.
Yeah, we have a bit more reach.
And just spam it. Ah, damn.
Ah.
I knew I was too close.
And I knew I was about to get in there and save Dave.
guys with giant weights. They stole these from some men in leotards with handlebar mustaches. Oh, oh. Anyway, yeah, but I remember when I got into 3.5, which was my first edition of D&D, just finding out that they had, because I played in a homebrew setting, I played in a homebrew campaign, but just finding out that there was all this setting material for all these various worlds, and being like, well, I gotta just catalog all these for my own sake. I gotta just figure out what all of these are. And man, there's so many interesting worlds. Even just what you think would be the basics of like Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, the Dragonlance setting. You would think like, yeah, they're all just basic fantasy settings.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much uniqueness and so much character to each of them.
I thought when I was a kid that Dragonlance was the D&D setting because the first time, besides that television game, that
well, there was a period where it was.
The first time the first time I heard of it was in the context of the Heroes of the Lance game, which I think slightly predates Pool of Radiance. It's an action game mostly, sort of. I never played it at the time.
We're kicking Bebop's ass this time.
Except I'm about to lose a second life, so I'm gonna defer to you.
Yeah, I'm still on my third. I'd like to stay there.
Yeah.
Is he solid now?
He's solid. Oh, man.
Damn it, Bebop.
Well, that's a real bummer.
That is.
We got greedy. That's many a Dark Souls boss death on my part has come from exactly what we just did, which is being like, oh, it's about to happen. Just make it happen. Get it done. At least I'm about to get an extra life. Okay, so at any rate, I mean...
With 2 Manhattan, we've used 1 continue.
If we do not get game over, extra life, if we clear this stage, we're in much better shape.
Yes, much.
Than last time. And if we don't, we're in the exact same shape, which does not rule out the possibility of this being successful.
Well, no, I think we're already in better shape because I think we were down to 1 continue at this point. And we've got 2 continues.
Right. But what I'm saying is if we have to use this, if we don't beat this stage without a continue, then we're at the start of the stage with 1 continue left.
That's true. Can't doubt that. That's just simple math. Simple arithmetic. Anyway, oh, come on! That was the greatest spear throw.
Thank goodness it's the take damage and get tossed back up style of falling off the bottom of the pit.
Yeah, as opposed to just
and not
automatically
the instant
losing.
loss of a life.
Yeah. What's I gonna say? Yeah. You know what is a default D&D setting that doesn't get, I think, enough love? And I would say it's almost 100% due to what it was tied to. What became the D&D setting of 4th edition, I thought was great. I thought the Points of Light setting, which later got an official name, something like Navarada or something, I thought that was a great setting. I thought it really...
I'll be honest.
Initially, 4th edition wasn't planned to have a setting, but they needed to put something in the cosmology section. You know, they needed to have some gods, some generic gods, and they needed to do, they needed to do like monster descriptions, right? Like they needed to be like goblins, weird creatures that hate you. But they ended up just accidentally building all this lore and then just leaning into it in the second half of that edition.
Huh.
I thought it worked out really well.
I will say that the majority of D&D playing I have been in has never had a strong sense of being set in a world. Not because of flaws in D&D, but because I've mostly played homebrew campaigns, or to the extent that they were prefab adventures. Not always really trying to situate us. I did a bit of Ravenloft, a bit of the Strahd campaign.
I like Ravenloft. I like the conceit of Ravenloft.
And right now, I'm actually only 2 sessions of this have really done this, but because we're doing Spelljammer.
Nice.
And but our DM was like, we'll lead up to explaining why you're in the Spelljammer setting by doing like an intro on the planet, whatever the planet's called. So we've only had 2 sessions with actual spelljamming involved, but that does create that's a fun setting so far. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. Spelljammer?
Yeah, but the one I want the most, the one I want to experience the most, and I suppose I will for the first time sometime in the future when I'm through Pool of Radiance, because it's a later SSI D&D game. It's their one of 2. They made 2 non-gold box D&D games as successor games in the Dark Sun setting.
Yes, Dark Sun is an astounding setting.
It's very cool, and so I'm quite looking forward to actually getting to experience it. Because previously, all I've done, they did re-release it, I believe, for 4th edition.
They did. Yeah, they did a full.
And I read
release
about it,
of it.
but I never even tried it. And then they haven't done it for 5th edition. I was just reading an article yesterday that part of the reason it might not be coming back is that they're worried it's too problematic.
There is a lot of problematic stuff. I think I might have read the same article here. There's a lot of problematic stuff in there about like slavery and things like that. That said, I think they would just update it to make it less problematic before they just did away with it entirely.
Which, like, one of the things that stuck out to me was specifically it was talking about, like, the games have slavery, and then, like, if the people you're playing with don't, like, the settings itself, like,
yeah, the hero
you're supposed to understand that
with
slavery is bad. We're supposed to be living in a terrible, terrible world. But that if your players, or your DM, like, if anybody at the table is going to be a jerk about it, then it's going to wind up not treating the issue with the seriousness it deserves.
Yeah.
But the thing to me with that is that will just happen. It doesn't matter what you write. If you say that, like, if you rewrote the Dark Souls rules, or the setting to be like, there's no slavery on Athos, that is not going to stop your, like, some problematic dude from being like,
I wouldn't say...
I'm the DM, it does have slavery, and,
Yeah.
And there's, hot slave girls or, like, some other thing,
and they really grew up with you.
Like, you can't stop someone from just buying a Dungeons & Dragons rulebook and being like, this is set in the world of gore. Or is it Tor? You know the world I'm trying to talk about, right?
It's gore.
Yeah, gore. G-O-R.
Oh, I love this slowdown. It's like, I get that it's the processor just not being able to log us on all these barrels.
But it feels right.
It feels like slow-mo in an action movie.
Yeah, because it literally happens at the pivotal moments. That's just how it has to happen. I am trying to stay alive in hopes that we're drawing in on pizza. I know that's probably naive. I would love it. And we're going to get you an extra life.
Excited about getting that extra life, yeah.
Actually,
You're not far.
I'm working towards mine.
You could do it. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible. Oh, come on.
Ah. And then I take a punch. Just a regular straight punch from a purple foot soldier. As if to say, I don't deserve that. Okay, fine. We get pizza right now. I'm very upset. It won't be the saddest I've been able to attended funeral and watched episode 3 of The Last of Us.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's not the brightest of days.
No,
for you, eh?
no, we really dug in on putting a lot of sorrow into the day. Because, like, I was not forced to watch The Last of Us episode 3.
I really deflected a lot of shurikens there.
It's true. Oh, man. I thought I was getting off the axis just in time.
Huh? Nice. Don't know why I can jump kick down to the subway, but sure.
Yeah. Well, I feel pretty confident we will clear the subway without getting game over. I mean, we're going to find out together right now.
Yes, it's true.
That'll be our last act.
Of the
evening.
show, yeah. God, these
Oh,
guys.
man. So last week, Greg, you might recall that I told you I was recording a podcast.
Yes, I remember
like
that.
after you left, and our agenda, because our podcast producer Merv, serious professional guy, so we get a full like itinerary, all the segments, how long they should take, and as scheduled, it was like, all right, so this will be like, for me it'll be like 12:30 when we wrap up. But this is not, I want to be very clear, criticism of Merv or anybody else involved in the podcast. What happened was we got really, really into some of our discussions on the early segments, such that when I said, I'm sorry, gang, I have to go to sleep. I can't do the last segment, which is supposed to be 90 minutes long. It was 1 a.m.
Oh my god.
I was so tired last Wednesday.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So I'm very excited to just go to bed at a normal time.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
Not that I didn't also do that every other night of the week, but specifically.
But like when you
like,
get to our age,
earlier when you were like, "Hey, are we show tonight?" Part of me was like, "Oh man, I can't be up till 1." And then I was like, "Wait, no, that's not
every show.
That's not how we do the beat 'em up show. That's a very particular circumstance last night."
I'm glad you had fun with the podcast.
Oh, it was great fun. One thing that I've regretted in hindsight was that during the last segment we completed, but where at the end of that segment, no, the last segment we completed, just the whole segment, I had become utterly exhausted. And so they wound up talking about Dragon Age a lot. And
Age, yeah.
And I just didn't weigh in much, even though, specifically, I would have loved to make a lot of the exact same points I made about Pool of Radiance, and, connected to the fact that I'm going to play Pool of Radiance, and talk about how I think it's cool to have an RPG that takes a local scope or a regional scope that concerns things other than the literal fate of the entire universe, which is often, it's harder to conceptualize than just like, we gotta clean up this town. We gotta get this place back on its feet. Like, okay, I've never had to clear the slums of Halifax, but I get the idea in a way that it's easier to imagine.
Yeah.
To role play.
I too have never cleared the slums of Halifax.
Man.
Get him. Come on, how are you not Flash? I know, because we haven't done enough damage to him.
Yeah.
But we have done a lot of damage to him.
But we gotta do a lot more, and I gotta play a smart defensive game.
You gotta play a smart game. You don't want to lose life here.
No, it is...
Especially because if you get the final blow here, you're probably getting a second life, another life pretty early.
And if I make it to the next level, I will be back to full health, and I will get an extra life.
Okay.
So.
Oh, come on! I jumped in just a second too early. I hate his helmet. I don't understand. This is not how a mining helmet works.
No, it's not, but it makes sense that if for no reason at all you're giving this guy a mining helmet. Well, what's the point of it? Let's make it shoot lasers.
They're not even lasers is the issue I have. They're Circular. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to...
Those are definitely
concentric circles.
Yes. Yep, they're those.
I don't get what they remind me of hypno beams, but we're definitely not hypnotizing this guy. Oh, a lot of those blows were landed on Johnny.
Yep, but got him to the flashpoint.
Got him to the flashpoint. Come on, Leo, get in there. Great. Perfect.
Now he's solid.
Oh, he's super solid.
So they're not actually supposed to go back. That's just a palette glitch. He's supposed to be solid, the flash color at the end. They all are. when it looks like they've just stopped flashing, that's an
Well,
error.
we did it.
Okay, we're in good shape. I think
We're
we're
in
going
great
to get a legitimate, standing on our feet victory next time around. And we're wrapping up a little earlier than we would, but I think this is the spot to do it. So, makes sense. This is awesome. Okay, so the beat 'em up, the forward-looking beat 'em up agenda is Turtles in Time after Manhattan Project. And while it slightly breaks the arbitrary cutoff that we made for our Era 1, I think it does also make sense to do the Super Nintendo adaptation.
Yeah.
We haven't gone to, we didn't do the Final Fight adaptation, although I don't think that's worth doing because it's single player only. And otherwise quite faithful. But, and then after that, we will do Battletoads.
Yes.
And I guess probably Battletoads versus Double Dragon. Then there's Golden Axe. And then there's a lot of, I think there's just some cleanup to do. Hit some other notable, we gotta do the Simpsons arcade game. We gotta do...
the X-Men fighting games.
Yeah.
Oh, not fighting games, but beat 'em ups is what I meant to say.
Yeah. We'll check the release dates on those. Those might be arbitrary second era.
I think the Simpsons game is definitely... I think those came after the first X-Men ones.
I don't think so.
Really? That Simpsons one is... 1995? 96?
No.
No. When did the Simpsons beat 'em up come out?
Early, 1991.
91? Jeez.
This is
They really were like...
That's
somebody watched The Simpsons, fucking season 1, and was like, this could be a fighting...
Greg, I forget that you are not much, but younger than I. You have just turned 33, and I'm about to turn 38.
Today I turned 33.
Yeah.
I'm the same age as Jesus, James.
Oh my. It's a crazy age.
It's a crazy age.
And so you don't have firsthand memories of the fact that season 1 of The Simpsons, which nowadays people would mostly look at and be like, well, they were getting there. They were working it out.
They'll figure it
what
out.
The Simpsons was going to be.
Yeah.
It took a couple more years. It was a sensation, and it was ubiquitous in its merchandising.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I know this. I just think that to go from that to let's immediately make a beat 'em up.
Yeah. Let's put them in the arcade. What's the hot genre?
True.
Look at that Ninja Turtles game. Do that, but with the Simpsons. Let's have them. Let's record an album. Let's put some absolute garbage Nintendo Entertainment System games out, and also get your Simpsons Velcro wallet, and your Simpsons Snap bracelet, and your Simpsons every goddamn thing you could think of. Bart Simpson will be the spokesperson for Butterfinger, and so on. So yeah, I'm excited because I've only played the Simpsons beat 'em up a little bit in an actual arcade when I was a kid, and I had no knowledge of The Simpsons at that time. My early Simpsons knowledge is entirely because my parents wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons until later in the 90s. But for whatever reason, it was we could certainly engage with all the Simpsons merchandise. We will order the Simpsons Sing the Blues from Columbia House, and we will let the kid play the video games. And so my impression of the character Mr. Burns was that he was actually far more evil than he would eventually turn out to be, because he's the villain of Bart versus the World, where he's trying to just kill the Simpsons for some reason I don't remember. Anyway, so lots of beat 'em ups ahead. In fact, in the course of confirming that I had the Battletoads ROM so we can play it on an emulator and make sure I knew how to make the Game Genie codes work, I just put in a little time on Moby Games, and I found the ROM for every single thing that I think can be classified as a beat 'em up on the Nintendo Entertainment System or Famicom. And I looked into Sega Master System too. So we got a lot to do, but the immediate future is a little bit more Turtles, then some Battletoads, then some Golden Axe, and then miscellaneous. We definitely gotta check out this The Combat Tribes. Not because I'm necessarily expecting it to be great, but because I'm interested. I mean, maybe it will be, because it was the Combat Tribes is the game made by the team behind the first two Double Dragons instead of making Double Dragon 3.
Right, yeah.
So Techno's
we're
farmed
make a whole
out Double
other
Dragon
franchise.
3. So
didn't go as well.
Yeah, so that's what's coming here, and I'm looking forward to all of that. And meanwhile, here at Dream Street generally, this Friday Night Frosthaven, we had our first week off of the entire Frosthaven era last Friday.
We had a really good run there.
But we're going back on track for at least 3 weeks. And so this week will be the conclusion, part 2 of the Upper Spire scenario. Mm-hmm. And then we're heading into 2 weeks where Lauren's back with us, so I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Then, especially because just even though Lauren lives so close to me that I could go and say hi to Lauren in person and get back here without like Greg missing his bus.
Yeah. I missed my bus.
Yes. At the times when she can't make it to the show, she's also generally pretty busy, so I just haven't seen her. I haven't talked to her. So that'll be cool. And then on the weekend, Saturday, Pool of Radiance. This episode will not involve a full hour, like 90 minutes to 2 hours at the start of me talking about the 4 characters I've already built, creating 2 more characters, and then mapping the main town so I know where everything is, and then buying equipment and all that stuff. It'll just be pure adventure in the slums. We're going to go beyond what I ever did in the 2 hours of Pool of Radiance I played years ago, because I completed one side quest that I can tell I'm moments away from initiating and completing, and then I'll have done everything I did. So I'm excited for that, heading into uncharted territory. And I got to make up my mind about whether I want to do this Forge of Virtue expansion for Ultima 7, or if I want to save something for someday in the future. I will revisit Ultima 7 using the Exalt emulator that everybody actually uses, because only a particularly broken person would deliberately play the PC original when the Exalt emulator is available, with its many, many bug fixes and fishing works, all that kind of stuff. You're supposed to be able to fish in the Blackgate, but you just never ever get a bite.
I mean, that's just realism.
Yeah, so
that's how my fishing
in one sense, yeah. A lot of the frustrating parts of Ultima 7 can be attributed. You can say like, yeah, you know what? If you had a backpack and you were going around fighting all the time while putting a ton of little objects in your backpack, they would get all fucking jumbled up and it would be infuriating to try to find them. Doesn't necessarily make it a good gameplay system, but it is certainly it's got a touch of realism to it. So I gotta decide if I want to save the Forge of Virtue so there's something brand new in the game for me in the future. If I don't, we very well might put an end to the Guardian's schemes. Not an end in the sense that I know that the Guardian is the villain of all the remaining Ultima games, but we're gonna stop them for now. We're gonna break the Black Gate before he can come through it anyway. Shut down the Fellowship. We might do that on Sunday, or we might set off on the Forge of Virtue expansion. I gotta think and decide what I'm gonna do there. And then next Tuesday we'll be back here playing Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that. So that's where we are, and that's where we're going. Take us home, Greg.
All right. Well, if you joined us, thank you for sticking around all the way to the end. Please follow us if you can. Subscribe if you want. James offers you nothing in return. But But our gratitude.
You saw how grateful I was for J-Dog's bits earlier.
I know. That was amazing. I didn't even know we were getting bits. So, until next time, remember, violence is never the answer. Except in video games. Bye-bye.
See you later.